All right, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about comparison operators, comparators. So in Python, we often want to be able to compare two things to each other. As we'll see in looping, this is very important to know if some condition is true. Same with compare or if statements and else statements. We often need to know if two things are equal, or if two things are not equal, or if two things are greater than or less than each other. So these are the types of operators that are available in Python. So there's the double equal. So this is literally the equal symbol twice. This compares if the thing on the left and the thing on the right are the same value. There's the not equal, which compares if the thing on the left and the thing on the right are not the same. There's greater than, thing on the left has a higher value than the thing on the right. Less than, thing on the left has a lower value than the thing on the right. Less than or equal, thing on the left has a value that is less than or equal to the thing on the right. Or sorry, this is greater than or equal. Thing on the left has a value which is equal to or greater than the thing on the right. Less than or equal, the thing on the left has a value which is lower than or equal to the thing on the right. So these are exactly the same as all math that you ever learned, since you were calling these alligators, and the alligator eats the thing which is greater than. You've seen equals before in regular math, when this is different than an assignment, right? So an assignment is just a single equal. When you're setting a variable equal to one thing, you use a single equal. When you're testing if two variables are equal to each other, you use the double equal. And then not equal, I'm not sure you would have done in too much math, maybe. I forget my algebra. But this is just the pound symbol, exclamation point, and then the equal symbol. So all of these evaluate to either true or false. So when you see these type of operators, you can think of them as just being replaced by the values true or false. So these are used to compare things, and when those things are compared, if they compare and equal true, then some set of things happen. If they compare and equal false, some other set of things happen. So the simplest thing that we can do is just print out their value of true or false all the way down, depending on how these operators evaluate. So if we have two values, x equal 1, y equal 2, let's go through them, right? So does 1 equal 2? No, it doesn't. So the equals evaluates to false. Does 1 not equal 2? No, it doesn't. So yes, it evaluates to true, right? So the not equal is true in this case because 1 is not equal to 2. Is 1 greater than 2? No, so that's false. Is 1 less than 2? Yes, so that one's true. Is 1 greater than or equal to 2? No, so that one is false. Is 1 less than or equal to 2? Yes, true. All right, so these are real stupid little examples here that just show you what these are going to evaluate to. We will use these types of comparators a lot in if statements and in loops. But for now, we're just showing real dumb versions. So the only one that was potentially confusing because of how I said it was this one. So does 1 not equal 2? Yes. And when you say yes, it means the result is true. Does 1 equal 2? No. So when you say no, the value is false. All right, so I think I hopefully cleared that up a little bit. So there are other symbols in here, which are these pound signs, and you'll notice that this code or these words are also in gray. So these are not operators, these are comments, right? So it is good practice to comment your code. So what comments are there little notes in your code that help you in the future remember what it is that you were doing, and it helps other people who need to see your code understand what you were doing as well. So these lines do not get executed in any way. They're just in the code sitting there waiting to be like read by your eyeballs or somebody else's eyeballs. So commenting your code is one of those really important things that every programmer is supposed to do, but most programmers forget to do. You will be much happier if you find your own code in a drawer somewhere on some kind of drive, which people are going to laugh about in 10 years, like a floppy drive or whatever. And it has comments in it, so you're going to be able to remember what you were thinking as you wrote this code. So these are examples of comments. These don't actually run. So this and this are comments. You can put them in line just like here. So this is after our actual code on the same line, just showing that what's actually going to happen here is the word false is going to be printed out, the word true is going to be printed out, the word false is true, 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 false, false, whatever. So this is a comment in line, quote unquote, with the rest of our code. You can have comments here, but if you had the comment in the front, then this whole thing would be commented out. So everything after the pound symbol gets turned into a comment and does not get run. So now we're going to look at logical operators, which are different than comparison operators. So remember, these ones get converted into trues and falses as they get evaluated. These ones string together trues and falses. So they are the words and, or, and not. So in other programming languages, you might use the double ampersand for and the double pipe for or. In Python, you use the actual word and, or, and not. So what do these do? These allow you to string together a few comparison operators and evaluate them all at once. And they all get one value depending on which operator is used. So it's not too difficult until you start seeing a lot of these things together. So the AND operator only returns true if all of the other operators on both sides are both true, right? So you have true on the left, true on the right. Is one of them true, or are both of them true? That's when the difference starts mattering between and or. So and only returns true if everything is true, or returns true if anything is true. So let's look at some examples, right? So we have x equal 1, y equal 2. X is greater than y, so 1 is greater than 2 is false, and x equals y, also false. So we have a false on the left-hand side and a false on the right-hand side. So false and false. Are both of those true? No. So that whole thing is going to return false. All right, so x is less than y, 1 is less than 2, true, and 1 equals 2. So we have true over here and false. Do we have both of them true? No, since we have true and false, and this only returns true if we have true and true. So that returns false. And finally, we have 1 less than 2, true, and 1 not equal y. Sorry, 1 not equal 2, true. So we have true and true. So this whole thing will print out true. So this whole thing evaluates to true. So the AND operator is very restrictive. Both sides have to be true in order for the whole thing to evaluate to be true. So there's lots of instances why you would want that. We'll see examples as we move further down the course. So this is an OR now, right? So here we have either side can be true, and then the whole thing becomes true. So we have 1 greater than 2, false, and 1 equal to false. So we have false or false. So neither of them are true, so the whole thing becomes false. All right, so here we have 1 greater than 2 or 1 not equal to. So we have false or true. So since it's an or statement, false or true, the whole thing becomes true. Here we have 1 less than 2, that's true, or 1 equal to. So we have true or false. So true on this side, false on that side, but since it's an or statement, either one can be true and the whole thing becomes true. So here we have an and statement in here, which is a copy of top one. So need to remember to get rid of this one because this is an extra in our code. Remove that thing. Cool. All right, so key points in and, both sides have to be true, otherwise the whole thing becomes false. In or, either side can be true and the whole thing becomes true. What does it not do? It just reverses whatever your Boolean on the inside is. So x not equal y is true because 1 does not equal 2. This thing on the inside is a false, but when you do not to it, it becomes true. So that's what this says here. This part becomes true, but when we apply not, it becomes false. So what we have here is x greater than y, so 1 greater than 2. That is a false, but when we not it, it becomes a true. So I, in all my programming, generally don't do a lot of nots, but I do a lot of ands and ors. So that is comparators. So we have comparison operators and we have logical operators. So this is actually called operators. Let me change that title. Change title to operators. Close enough. We have ones that result in a true false. They have a thing on the left, they have a thing on the right, and when they run, they become true or false depending on what the value of those things are. And then we have ways that we can string them together. So this is just a regular comparison operator with a logical operator in the middle. And logical operators, the keys are, if you use an and, then everything has to be true in order for the whole thing to be true. And if you use an or, then any one of them can be true for the whole thing to become true. And then there is a not, which will just reverse whatever your current Boolean value is. You can string these together by using a bunch of parentheses, right? So you can have this thing, then the word and, then another thing, and they evaluate from the inside out. We'll add a little bit more text describing that below with some more crazy examples. All right, so that's it.